So here's your how-to. The first point you need to become clear about is the what question. What do you actually want to achieve? So a lot of people I meet, when they come to me and say, I want to be open, I want to do open source, or I want to do crowdsourcing. When I ask them, what do you actually want to achieve? They don't know. They're like, oh, I heard it's cool. I'm like, that's not good enough a reason. There's very specific reasons why you want to do something in the open. There's clearly good reasons why you want to do something in a closed ecosystem. Say, for example, if you work with very specific intellectual property, which is very valuable to you, of course you don't give your intellectual property to the world, right? It makes sense. So the first question you really need to think hard and deeply about is, what do you want to achieve? Once you have that, think about how. And the how is the question of what mechanism are you using? I showed you 5 mechanisms, anything from competitions to crowdsourcing to crowdfunding to platforms and open source. There's many others in between there. But figure out what is the mechanism you want to start with. In particular, if you're in an established company, this whole open thing is pretty scary, right? Because you go to people and say, oh, give all your stuff away and like involve the community in. This is crazy. Like people will look at you like, you're nuts. So I suggest start small and start the least involved version. So instead of going and saying, we open source everything tomorrow, probably start out and say, okay, let's pick a particular problem and start with a competition. You know, or a crowdsourcing or crowdfunding campaign around a very specific problem. You need to become super clear about the why. And the why is not your why. The why is, why should they care? Why should I care about your stuff? If you heard Salim Ismail ever speak, he talks about the idea of the massive transformative purpose. You need to give me something I can believe in as a customer, as a contributor. You need to give something I can rally behind, which is important to me. If you come to me and say, help us co-create this thing so we can sell a few more products, like, why should I care? But if you come to me and you say, hey, let's crash the Super Bowl, I'm like, hell yeah, let's crash the Super Bowl, that's awesome. When I worked at Mozilla, the Firefox web browser. When we built Firefox, we were 20 people. We were competing with the largest software company on the planet, Microsoft. Microsoft had 1,200 people building Internet Explorer. We were 20. What we did is we went to our community and we said, let's fight back, let's win back the web. The web is ours to be taken. And we had thousands of developers who came to us and said, this is awesome, I want to be part of it. So you need to give me a reason why I should care. And it needs to have purpose. Karim Lakhani again did some really interesting research on why people care. And he found the most important reasons why people care in this order is, first of all, they have an itch to scratch. So they want to solve the problem for themselves. The reason why people contribute to open source is because they want to solve the problem for themselves first. They love the creative process. It's a way for them to express themselves, to do something which is bigger than they are. They have a sense of belonging. I'm part of a community. This is my tribe. I work with people I care about. There's an opportunity for me to learn. And lastly, it is reputation building. I can guarantee you, the guy who did that spot you saw earlier from Doritos, that guy now has a very high-paid job in advertising. Of course, because he's brilliant, right? So he created an interesting reputation. Once you have all that together, you need to now engage with your customer. And when we talk about engaging, the really important thing to understand is your customer is not your customer. Your customer is a citizen. That changes fundamentally your relationship. It's not we are here and they are there. You're together with them. You're citizens. You are the mayor, the elected mayor. So you need to interact with them differently. You need to create a system of meritocracy, which means that not your opinion matters because you're the person who gets paid or who has got the highest title. The opinion of the person who's got the best insight matters. You have to become a learning organization. Understand that this idea of going to open is incredibly rich, incredibly powerful, and changes the way you will do business. But you have to allow for your organization to learn. It's a very new way of thinking. So allow yourself some time, be gentle on yourself, and iterate. When you go open, your culture changes. And it's a little bit like the genie in the bottle. Once you open the bottle, you will never ever be able to turn that back. Once you go open, your people will change the way they think about the market, they think about the customer, they think about the company, they think about managing. Everything changes. You cannot get this back. So be careful about this. The second one is really important. This is when you don't go open, but your competition does. I can show you example after example after example. If you're in a market where your competition goes open, you're toast. So I encourage you to think about in your businesses where you have challenges today, where you need to compete and innovate, to think about how do you do this in an open manner.